Hello, everyone. Hello, fellow judges from across New Mexico. My name is Barbara Vigil. I'm a recent retiree from the New Mexico Supreme Court, and I am here with a number of judges that have served or are serving New Mexico. And we would like to share with you how they experience finding joy in their lives. So let me start with introducing our guest this morning or this afternoon, and I will start with Justice Petra, who served on the judiciary for, I think, over 30 years. Justice Maez, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to turn to Chief Judge George Eichwald. Thank you, Chief. You're busy every day, I know, with your docket, and I'm glad you're here to share your wisdom in finding joy with your colleagues. I turn to Chief Judge Manny Arrieta from the 3rd Judicial District. Thank you, Chief Judge Arrieta, for taking time as well from your busy schedule down in Las Cruces. I will turn to Judge Debra Ramirez. Hi, Judge Ramirez. Thank you for being here. And last but not least, we have Judge Jerod Hofacket from the 6th Judicial District. Thank you, Judge, for being here. Our question today is, can you share with our judicial colleagues today what sparks joy in your life? Let me turn to my former colleague, Justice Maez. What sparks joy in your life, Justice Maez?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this. I'm really excited to share where I find joy. I find joy by spending time every day in prayer and meditating on the Bible. To sit down, to be still for at least 15 minutes every morning sparks joy in my life. Prayer helps me to see the beauty and the goodness of the day, to live in the present and not dwell on the past and the future. And I also found that an activity that brings you joy, you'll want to do it more, and I am doing more than just 15 minutes.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Justice Maez, for that wisdom. The quiet time that you find in your life, the prayer, the meditation, that's beautiful. Let me ask the same question of Chief Judge Arrieta. What sparks joy in your life, Judge Arrieta?
Well, there's a lot of things that spark joy, you know, being with the grandchildren, with the family, traveling, all that kind of stuff. But just like Chief Justice Maez, I find some joy in spending time doing something for myself. Like in the early mornings, I get up, have coffee and a pastry, and I just sit up in bed and eat and don't think about work, don't look at anything electronic. And that sort of centers me. So when I walk in through the doors, I'm centered, I know what I'm going to do, and that brings me a little bit of joy. So a little focus on myself, I think, is what brings me joy.
Thank you, Chief Judge Arrieta. Judge Ramirez, what sparks joy in your life?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me, Justice Vigil. I start every day by taking joy in the simple things that I have created around my home, my flower garden, my pets, and I pray every day before I come to work. I sit in prayer for gratitude for all of the blessings that I have in my life. And I focus on that throughout the day, the business day, where the pressure of family court is, or the sadness sometimes can be overwhelming. And so often during the day, I will stop and be still to take joy in something about the last half hour hearing or whatever it might be that is going on during my day. I will stop often to take joy in my surrounding. And I think it's a lot like happiness. We choose to see things in a way that allows us to understand how blessed we are to be in this moment.
Thank you very much, Judge Ramirez. Same question, Chief Judge Eichwald. I know you've presided over some pretty egregious, very violent trials that have taken place in your district, and you have for a number of years. Chief Judge Eichwald, how do you keep joy in your life?
I could get attuned to my senses. For example, I love to get up way before the sun is up, and I like to smell the rain when it rains. I like the taste of, say, a fresh homemade tortilla with butter and jelly. That brings me a whole lot of joy. Also, when I'm walking in the morning, hearing, not having music, but rather listening to the animals, the birds, and so forth. And also, when I'm walking in the dead of winter, when there's no noise at all, after a snowstorm, that brings me joy. The simplest things in life is what makes me the happiest.
Thank you so much for that wisdom. And Judge Hofacket, what sparks joy in your life?
The wisdom of the group here is something that I've come to much more recently. Joy used to be kind of an intimidating word. Anger and sadness and some of the negative emotions are powerful and overwhelming emotions, and I thought joy needed to be the same. And if I wasn't feeling overwhelmed with joy, then maybe it was something less. And then I realized lately in the last year or two that it's just taken a moment to see what is already there, that things in your life, taking a moment to appreciate them. It's not, I don't have to cultivate it. I don't have to go out and find something to happen in order for there to be joy. It's already there. The relationships, colleagues, my children, and really just seeing the good side of even the negative things. That we have hard days. Our jobs are very difficult, but we're doing them for good. We're not out here trying to do harm. These are necessary decisions that have to be made. And at the end of the day, the parties, the families, the community, people are better because we're doing this work. And even on those hard days, things, just noticing those things can sometimes be what it takes for me to feel joy.
Thank you, Judge Hofacket. If there's one activity that you could do that would bring more joy to your life, what would that be? Justice Maez.
Well, absolutely. I would love to spend more time with the family, and especially now that the country is opening up a little bit, and to be able to travel and show my grandchildren so much of this wonderful world that we live in. But on a personal manner, I enjoy studying and learning. And I'm kind of thinking about getting an MA in theology. And so, but the idea of having to go back to school, reading and having to write reminds me a little bit about work. So I'm going to try to think about that a little bit more.
That is so amazing. Thank you, Justice Maez, for sharing that, that we continue to strive to learn and grow. That's wonderful. Judge Ramirez, what activity, if you could add more in your life, that would bring you joy, what would that be?
I have so many interests, I'm not sure that just one would be enough. So I guess my first thought is that I would have a puppy. I've been wanting to have a dog. I have cats, but I've wanted a puppy, and I feel badly about having one, going to rescue one from the shelter because I'm not home very much. And so I think I've always thought that I would have a puppy in retirement, but that's like a long time away. So if I had one thing, it would be more time for my family and my garden.
Thank you, Judge Ramirez. Chief Judge Eichwald, what would you do if you could add something in your life that would bring you more joy? What would that be?
Have one less puppy. I don't know. Try reconnect with a lot of old friends, a lot of family. Go back to where I grew up, to the property, and restore it from the negligences or the negligent way we have it now. That property was left to me and my brothers and sisters from our parents.
Where is that
That
property?
would bring me joy.
Where is that property, Chief?
Pardon, what was that?
Where is it? Where is your
Up
property?
in Cuba and in the mountains in Cuba. It's a small ranch.
That's lovely. Great. Judge Hofacket, what would you do more of if you could?
I like to make things. I like to bake, and I have gotten away from making furniture. You can't see it, but I have a stand-up desk here in my office that I made myself, and just a sense of creating something tangible that will last a little bit. I mean, the bread doesn't last very long, but the sense of creating something that you can see, I think it brings me joy.
Fantastic. Would love to see your furniture. And finally, last but not least, Chief Judge Arrieta, you can close out our session today with sharing what would you do to bring you more joy in your life?
Oh gosh, there's so many joys in this world that I've tried as many as I can. And I can tell you in the last year, I've learned how to speak conversational Chinese. I've gone to China, I've gone to Europe, I've done the Camino. I think Chief Judge Vigil, you know about that. I have done simple things like I've started up hiking. And with hiking, I've started to pick up rocks. So now I do rock tumbling. And I've got a few rocks here. This I can show, I think. They're rocks that I just pick out in the desert. And when I tumble them, they come out bright and shiny. They're almost like candy. I took up calligraphy a few years ago. And so I could go on and on. There's just so many joys out there in the world that every day when I wake up, I try to think of doing something new and something not just for myself, but sometimes for other people too. My kids, I spoil them rotten. That's a great joy. And I'd like to do that more often. Thanks.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Judges, Justice Maez, Chief Judges, thank you for sharing a little bit of your life, what brings joy in your life with our colleagues across New Mexico. And do take care. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day, and be well. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. We're back. We're back with Chief Judge Emilio Chavez from the 8th Judicial District Court. And Judge Chavez, as we all know, judges get pulled on and off the bench, and he was unable to join the group that just shared what brought joy to their lives. So we want to invite him to share separately his views of what brings joy to his life. So Chief Judge, thank you for taking the time to join us today and sharing with your colleagues across New Mexico what sparks joy in your life.
Well, thank you, former Justice, and I see you're enjoying retirement by helping all of us. My favorites, my easy answers, my children, my family, food, friends, family. But one of the important answers is sometimes thinking about actually within our profession. And one of my favorite things as a judge is when you get to see in certain cases people that were not expected to be successful, whether it is on probation, whether it's in an abuse and neglect case, and you get to know them as people beyond their file. You get to see their successes. They're proud of it. They tell you in the community. And so I think that gives me drive and makes me really want to be a better judge and really have those breakthroughs. So I think that's the quick comment that I'd like to share with everybody.
Thank you, Chief. I share that view. When I was on the children's court bench, it brought me joy to see kids making good decisions and turning their lives around and being successful. And so I think as difficult as the cases are that you hear day in and day out, I think there is always hope in the human experience of people doing the right thing. So thank you for sharing that. And if you would, Chief Judge Chavez, would you please share with your colleagues today, what is one activity that if you could add more into your life and have that bring you more joy, what would that be?
Well, obviously, I think there needs to be time for yourself, times for your friends and family, and we sometimes forget that as judges, or we use up all of our patience in our cases. So just that additional time with my family, and the one activity again, and I'm trying to not just personally but also professionally, is really continuing to develop the specialty courts and services that we have outside of the traditional legal system. And I really have seen the successes of those, and that kind of really adds to my first answer. So again, that continued development of other programs that are out of that traditional judicial box.
Wonderful. Chief Judge Emilio Chavez from the 8th Judicial District, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and sharing with your colleagues across the state of New Mexico your views on what brings joy into your life. Be well. Thank you, my friend, and keep up the wonderful work that you do. Bye, everyone.